Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Belton here. Today, I'm going to show you guys a new hidden recipe system that is in the game of Path of Exile 2. I have scoured the internet, looked through the interwebs, and I cannot find this anywhere, including on the wiki, which says it is not possible to do. But alas, it is. And those of you who have played PoE 1 for quite some time, this will harken back to that system. If you are unfamiliar with what I mean when I say a recipe system, Path of Exile 1 had a system in place where you could trade items to a NPC, and rather than getting gold back, they would give you various crafting materials, usually scraps. However, occasionally, if you combined certain items together, sometimes with currency items, you could get various crafted items back, sometimes different uniques. And again, part of this was sort of like the chase element of the game a little bit. Like there was kind of every time they would implement a new, sort of recipe or whatever, people would, like the guys who figured this out were crazy smart and very committed. But some of these are so obscure. But that's what I'm referring to here. Now, not to include myself in that group. In fact, it was a friend of mine who told me. But I couldn't help but smile, though, because as a matter of fact, what we are going to be talking about today is actually one of my very first YouTube videos ever. In fact, I think it is my second YouTube video ever, posted 9, almost 10 years ago. And it is Belton's Guide to Cheap Amulet Crafting. And wouldn't you know it, we are doing more or less the PoE 2 equivalent of the same thing. So what am I going to be showing you guys today? Well, it revolves around pearlescent amulets. Now, pearlescent amulets are a new amulet base type. However, they are incredibly rare. You get given one while you are leveling, and they are basically non-existent thereafter. If we take a look on the wiki here, it actually says that they are drop disabled, and they are not obtainable. On the POB, nothing there. There's not a single YouTube video, and there's no Reddit stuff either. To give you some indication for how rare these are, there are 5 people that have pearlescent amulets. And, there's fracture there. Right? Now, you might think these are really, like, tight restrictions. So why don't we just do, like, item level 80. There are 6 people that have pearlescent amulets of all rarities in the game. If you want to look at a normal base here, what are we looking at? 4 divs for a normal pearlescent base. Now, why is pearlescent so expensive? Well, in my humble opinion, I actually think it is probably the best amulet base that there is. Perhaps with solar amulet and in some situations the unique ones depending on your suffix-prefix split. However, all res is incredibly valuable for every build. It's one of those things that's just universal. And when you're looking at point efficiency on things, you kind of want to compare it to its alternatives. Right? Like if you look at spirit as a prefix on, let's say, a body armor, it's 61. On an amulet, it's 50. Right? And so 15 spirit as an implicit is just under a third, maybe just under a fourth. Right? Now, if you look at, let's say, dexterity or strength or int, they go to 15, whereas 33 is the max. Right? So again, less than half. But then you look at all resistance, which is the implicit that's on this, and you can get 10 upwards of 12 if you catalyze it, which is the tier 1 on, let's say, a ring is 16. On an amulet, it's 18, right? And so you're getting well over that amount. But what makes it really strong, in my opinion, is that I would never, ever put resistances on an amulet just because there are so many damage modifiers or very strong mods on amulets that you can't get elsewhere. Like, for example, 24 to all attributes, which is just like almost one of the most point efficient mods in the game. But 18 to all res, it is very, very point efficient. The problem is it's kind of hard to sneak it in. And you certainly don't want to catalyze it, especially with like how amulets are being crafted right now. You kind of typically are going to be using defense catalyst. However, if you use this base, I think it's fully justified. So in my case, I would swap out something similar to this, where I've got the all res, right? The all res implicit, and then I catalyze the fire modifier. So I just got rid of like the crit bonus, which is relatively easy to get on the tree. You can get, for spear builds, you can get a single jewel that has 40 crit bonus, right? Whereas crit chance, you can only get 16, so that makes it twice. The relative value of it is about twice as scarce, on a jewel at least. Throughout the tree, it's about 75%. Now, that is actually tier 2 all res, but even still, though, you can see that gives, with the catalyst, that's 19 to all res, but you can get tier 1, which is 18 all res, that'll go to 21, and then the implicit will go to 12. So that's 31 all res, and you're just giving up a single modifier. That's it, right? And that's incredible value. Furthermore, they actually added a bunch of different ways to get Spirit as well. Spirit was definitely more scarce last league. You know, they added the Spirit reservation efficiency suffixes on helmets and on chests. They added it through the new rings, a bunch of different places on the tree and stuff. So I definitely think that Spirit, well, obviously it's at a premium and it's very good for every build. And obviously having 50 as a prefix doesn't get you by itself to that 60 threshold that a certain persistent skill might demand. There's a variety of other ways to do that. Res, on the other hand, I find to be very difficult. In particular, if you're trying to get things like deflection, or if you're using a lot of uniques, right? Typically for myself, I tend to go for it on like the body armor and rings. And also because I've been playing Whirling Slash, I've been using a rare belt because Headhunter, Shroud Walker always takes me outside of my AoE slash, and it just drives me bloody berserk. So I've been using a tri-res one here. But again, typically I would be doing that on, rings, body armors, try to like sneak it out, maybe have to use different socketables. Anyways, just incredibly convenient, and it's definitely point efficient in that respect. So that's the reason why I think it's very strong. But again, they're basically non-existent, right? Now here's the cool thing, boys. There's actually a recipe for them. And I'm going to show that to you guys now. What you do, lads, is you grab yourself a nice jade amulet, lapis amulet, and amber amulet. Okay? They have to be the same rarity, and whatever the lowest item level is of the three. So, like, if you have one that's 82, one that's 82, and one that's 79, the resultant amulet will be 79. And you cannot put, like, a normal, magic, and rare. Can't put corrupted ones. You can put fractured ones. And let's look. So we've got 82 jade, 82 lapis, 82 amber. Et voila. Pearlescent amulet. Now, as I pointed out to you guys earlier, that is a 4 divine base. As you're going to see here, when I go through a little video with you guys, I paid somewhere between 3 exalts to 1 chaos for each one. So that means to get one would cost somewhere between 10 to 30 exalts, with exalts being about 400 to 1 div. That's about a 50 to 1 return. Now, as a disclaimer, because I know a lot of you guys like to get a little over eager, maybe don't watch, you kind of just skim through the video or you follow things exactly. This is in reference to my last video with the quiver crafting. All right. I suspect, as with most of the videos I post, that there's going to be, a surge price bump in more or less everything here, right? That's not going to last forever. Don't freak out about it. But also, don't go spend 5 divines on a white jade amulet base because you want to try this, all right? That's just very foolish, all right? Apply some common sense and some critical thinking. People are fickle, so is the market. Things are cyclical. It'll come back around. The quiver video I posted last week has returned to basic normalcy. As a sort of pivot or testament to this, you can see just today we did, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did like 1,700 divines of quiver sales today, rather passively, right? So, that again, that's not neither here nor there for this video, just the point that it does come back around. So, do keep that in mind. But again, what you're looking for are lapis, jade, and amber amulets. You can do them if you do all 3 of them magic. It'll just come back unidentified magic. Same thing with rare, right? Now, when it comes back normal, that's definitely a benefit because you can use the perfect transmute and perfect augment, as so. And if you're really, really gung-ho, I suppose you could, annul it from that position as well. I don't recommend doing that since it's significantly cheaper to get them or to make them. But again, I don't think that as soon as this recipe is understood and people are aware of it, that by any means the bases are going to remain 4 divs. However, obviously this is just something that en masse there is a huge oversight towards, right? And of course, I mean, there's so much new stuff happening. This league, it's understandable as to why. But again, very, very simple. If we take a look here, these are 8 Exalteds, 13x, 15x. So 8, 13 is 21, 36x. So that's still like, what, 1/11th of a divine? And these are for item level 82 ones. Now, do keep in mind, you don't necessarily want to get item level 82. Do consult like PoE or Path of Exile for whatever modifiers you're looking for in an amulet. 82 can get you the tier 1 resistances, so fire, cold, and lightning, as well as tier 1 to all attributes, 24 to all attributes. If you just want to get tier 1 all res, that's item level 80. So that's 18 to all attributes, 18 to all elemental resistances. If you want chaos res, that's 81. If you want the +3s, those are 75. If you want the T1 defenses, so evasion, energy shield, and armor percent, those are 77. Spirit is 54. Crit bonus is 74. Crit chance is 72. Tier 2 all attributes is 75. Anyways, I'll let you guys look through it, but they do have various levels. Now, because crafting is so deterministic and a lot of it doesn't really have the layers that it classically would of RNG, you can kind of navigate a bunch of these things without really having to deal with that too much. But at the same time, you definitely don't want to, turn a weight pool of, let's say, like 10,000 into 15,000 for no reason if you know exactly what it is that you're getting. And the great thing is, since you're creating these yourself, you have absolute control with respect to what item level it is. In fact, I was assuming that, as soon as I post this video, that a lot of people would do this. Wasn't sure if I'd get an opportunity to again. So I went on a bit of a spree earlier today. And if you look at this, we got the 50 Spirit Fracture, +3 Proj Fracture, 50 Spirit Fracture, 50 Spirit Fracture, 50 Spirit Fracture, +3 Proj Factor with 50 Spirit and double T1 crit, +3 melee, double T1 crit, +3 melee, double T1 crit, 50 Spirit Fracture, +3 melee, T1 crit, res, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you get the point. So I'm going to show you guys through the gameplay footage now and just comment on things as necessary and point out anything that I think is important for you guys to see here. So going through this now, this is just me buying the required amulets. If you take a look in the bottom left corner, I did speed this up, but you'll see that I started at 1154. And I'll pop ahead here. You can see, all right, so we got 60 of them here, 1154, and all right, so what is that? 1159. So it took me 5 minutes buying these one at a time to jump between hideouts. The good thing is too, when you're buying normal items, they have a very low gold cost. After that, as you can see, or as you will see momentarily, we put these together here, and we made them into the Pearlescent. I've already showed you that there. So we got 10 of each there. So we grab 1, 1, 1. Do make sure you give yourself a little check beforehand. That you have the correct item levels and rarities and stuff. If there is something that you want specifically in that vein, I very, very highly recommend never going below item level 75, because that makes it impossible to get the +3s, which in terms of value is probably the, irrespective of what you're playing, probably the most important modifier, 95% of cases. So there you can see we got 10 of the bases there. So now we're just using a perfect transmute. I believe these are all item level 82, I'm pretty sure. We're going to do the perfect dog after. By the way, some of you guys were asking in the Quiver video, like the projectile skills was item level 41, and you were wondering why I was using a perfect transmuter, perfect augment. If you're using exceptional currency and it has a minimum item level, if you have a modifier on that item where the tier 1 is below that minimum threshold of the exceptional currency, only the tier 1 will be possible to hit. So in the case of this, right, like 50 spirit, which is item level 54, even though the minimum threshold for a perfect and transmute and augment is 70, because 54 is below that, you can still hit spirit. But if you do on the augment or transmute, the perfect ones, it will always be tier 1. So the tier 2 and below are removed, and that's the same across the board. Obviously, different items have different amounts to them. In any case, though, we just used perfect regals after getting these all 2 modded. Perfect regals just add an item level 50 modifier. There are certain cases where I would use the homogenized coronation, which makes it be of the same tag. Like if I got crit chance or accuracy will guarantee +3 melee. Crit chance will guarantee crit bonus. If you have spell or cast speed or +3 spells, they like kind of bounce off each other. So there's only those 3 caster mods. Anyways, yeah, so we regaled these. Didn't look like we hit anything with the regals. I am going to decide to make these 4 modded. You can decide to just chaos them with 3 mods if you want, and then just add the is it jawbone, collarbone, whatever the desecrated currency is that gives for jewelry. Because obviously that makes the fracture then a 1 in 3 instead of a 1 in 4. However, if you do 4 mods, obviously it makes it easier to hit whatever it is that you're going for. In my case, I was interested in +3 skills and T1 spirit. So you'll see in the bottom here, I wrote a regex or regex right there, which is just spirit and then slash and then skill. And a bunch of chaos, and I like to do a bunch of these at once because I find for myself I don't make as many mistakes like just sitting there and not blinking looking at one. And so this next part of the video I sped up, I believe, in the editing, but it's just me going through and rolling all of these different bases. I think partway through I decided that I didn't want to actually keep +3 melee, since you can like deterministically force it just by getting accuracy, and so having it fractured is kind of worthless. But I was definitely interested in keeping +3 proj, the T1 spirit naturally, and I think in some cases if it rolled perfectly I might go for like crit as well. I mean, you guys I'm sure have your own opinions on what to fracture strategically, though. I mean, again, it depends what skill type you're playing. I like to fracture spirit because it's a low item level, and because you're constantly changing your prefixes, right? Where like if you, for example, if you fracture +3 proj, your suffixes are already guaranteed anyways. If you're getting double crit, right? The double crit, like you chaos the +3, and then the double crit is guaranteed. So that doesn't really matter because they're not getting changed. But on your prefixes, you're constantly using like the essences, the global defenses and desecrated mods, potentially even whittles and stuff. So, and because spirit is such a low item level, it's very difficult to do that, obviously, if it's not fractured. And even though it's a relatively high weight, it's like 400 or 450, I believe spirit is, it's still a pain in the ass to get it with desecrated modifiers, especially because omens of the light are like 3.7 divs a piece now. And the what do you call it? Perfect ancient currency is also like 3.5 divs too. But in any case, here you can see we've hit a lot of the lower row. There is spirits. The upper row is the upper amulet is +3 proj. The reason I did so many of these, A was for the video, but also previously I'd been doing like 5 at a time or something, and I think I missed my first like 12 fractures. I was getting quite irritated. Another thing, sorry to mention as well, is that if you don't hit your fractures, you can 3-1 the bases back, and you'll get a clean base that you can then fracture again. Yeah, depending obviously what you do fracture, it's possible that the fracture that you have on there might have some value by itself, but generally speaking, I think that in most cases it's kind of hit or miss. Another thing to mention too, especially now that you don't have, if you are deciding to do this, that you don't, if you don't have spirit on your implicit, it's mandatory to have 50 spirit. If you get T1 spirit, divine it before you fracture, right? That's a break point, right? It was okay maybe to have like 48 or 49 when you have spirit as an implicit, because like you could have like 11 or 12, which will bring you to the next like round integer. But because, obviously I guess like spirit reduction suffixes can affect that. But anyways, you get the point. Make sure you get 50 spirit, not 48, not 49. I know it's a pain in the ass. Just do it. All right, so speaking of which, you'll see right now we actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we had 12 amulets in total that we rolled here. 8 of them hit the spirit, and you'll see I've got the 10 divs there. So, a man of my own advice, you can see I am divining the spirits to 50, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I spent 20 divs over 8 amulets, right? On eight of those, on average, you'd hit like 3 of them, I guess, right? The difference between those 3 would be far, far greater. Like the value of them would be double or triple for each fracture that hits. So even from a functional or like a transactional like market standpoint, it makes sense too. But again, from like a utilitarian perspective, like actually playing, the 50 is very important. All right, so now that we have divined them, what we are going to be doing, as I alluded to earlier on, is we are going to replace one of the modifiers with a desecrated mod, so that the fracture then becomes a 1 in 3. We can use a sinestral or dextral crystallization along with an essence abyss. So like if you have spirit, obviously spirit's a prefix, so you can just use the dextral so that the mark of the abyss will then become a suffix. And then with the projectile skills, which is a suffix, or any plus skills, you can do it with the prefix, right? So you'll see here that we're getting the bears the mark of the Abyssal Lord. And then we're going to apply the, is that the collarbone? Yeah. Anyways, you'll see that these now all become a 1 in 3. And then now we're doing the suffix sides. Same thing, right? So bears the mark of the Abyssal Lord. And we are going to go ahead and just make those so they're 1 in 3. And then we're going to line them up all nicely so that it looks good for the video. Now, I know that some of you are probably going to type out, streamer RNG, streamer RNG. All right, maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe I decided to only upload the successes because I got cucked earlier. Who knows? Either way, here's the results of the 12 that we made. Amulet number 1. Hit. Brick. 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 Hit. Brick. Hit. Hit. Brick. Brick. Hit. Hit. And if my math is correct, that brings us to 6 out of 12 fractures, 5 50 spirits, and the +3 proj. Now, keep in mind, this base by itself, I mean, with the current market price, for a div, I suspect they'll probably drop. Well, it depends, I suppose, how much the Jade Amber and Lapis Amulets go to, but let's say they're like 1 div by the time people see this video. Either way, they're definitely, or they're justifiably more expensive, whether or not they will be, than, I don't know necessarily. Hard to tell with the surge market. Really depends on the traction, how reactionary people are. But things will tend to flatten out over time, of course. In any case, though, these would, at face value, be more expensive than the solar amulets. And because I had been crafting on those previously, I can speak to this rather knowledgeably. The 50 spirit fractures on those were like 12 to 15 divs. The plus 3 proj fractures on those were like 35, 40 divs. So you're probably looking at double or triple in this case, double or triple it easily. And then I'm not going to bother going through it because I have 2 separate videos. I'll link that at the end of this video when it gives you the recommendations for videos to watch. The plus 3 melee, the plus 3 proj, like deterministic crafting. If you do want the steps after fracturing it, I will send you on that way. Anyways, I meant for this video to be closer to 15 minutes, but anyway, whatever. I get caught up when I talk sometimes. I'm getting to a point now where crafting is like, I don't want to say it's too easy because I still have fun with it, but like today I made like 6 pairs of perfect gloves, like 5 perfect chests, like 11 perfect amulets, like a mirror bow base, a variety. It just like the process of crafting is very quick. And so once you know what to do, a lot of the game for me now is sort of like a waiting game, right? Waiting for sales to come in. And then, let's say I wait 2 hours, every couple hours, make a couple sales, come back in, do a batch craft for like 15 minutes. Then I like fuck off again, basically. That does allow me to make, have time to make videos and stuff though. So if you guys want for me to do any like deterministic crafting videos or just to muse on different like crafting thoughts or, the state of the market, how to like invest in appreciating assets, all that kind of stuff. Really the only rubric I have for my ideas is the feedback you guys give me. I know there's always like vocal minorities that are negative. It's hard to miss those, but I do actually read through all the comments. I look at the analytics, and that is more so than anything where I kind of like follow, right? So not to harp on this every video, but I am trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the league. If you guys enjoyed this, I did want to share this with you guys instead of just like hoarding this miserly. It was getting kind of boring being the only person with these amulets. So for those of you who are interested in stuff like this, I hope you enjoy and have some fun with this. And those of you who see this very early will probably get a pretty nice leg up on the market. So if you do like this kind of stuff or crafting things, really appreciate it if you could sub, like, leave a comment. All that stuff means a lot to me. And, as long as the, trend line is positive and people are enjoying what I'm doing, I will keep it up. But I'm open to suggestions, of course, as well. Because, I've known all this stuff for a very, very long time. So occasionally there's new discoveries like this, but by and large, I'm just, whatever topic it is doesn't really make any difference to me. So, I welcome your guys' advice or your curiosities or your whatever. Anyways, I'm sure you guys get what I'm saying. I'm not very good at these outros. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful, guys. I've got another one in the works for you. Hopefully get it up tomorrow or the day after. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys are having a good time with the league still and you had some fun over this weekend. I will talk to you guys soon. God bless. Take care and happy crafting, boys.